If you're seeing this, then that means, unfortunately, that there were some cuss words in this. There still are. I have not been able to figure out how to bleep them out. So as soon as I figure that out, we won't need as many warnings. But what are you gonna do? What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to start off by saying we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to be standing while telling you some stories, and we're actually going to be talking about crazy work stories, or funny work stories, or insane work stories, or just work stories, because I've had a couple of jobs, and I've had a couple of crazy things happening while working at those jobs. So let's delve a little deeper into that. Also, another thing I want to bring up. So today, before I started shooting this video, Alex and I were like, okay, we need to clean the apartment. So we're cleaning the apartment, and he goes on YouTube, and he puts on all these songs that we sing each other in the car and all that kind of stuff, like, what's the name of it? It's like, love is more precious than gold. That one. So he was playing a bunch of like really cutesy country songs and all that kind of stuff, talking about love, and he just kind of grabbed me and he started dancing with me, and I literally broke down in this man's arms. Like, I am, praise whatever forces up there that brought this man to me, because I am so blessed. I broke down. I have never loved a man this much. So just had to put that out there. My boyfriend's amazing. I literally got to cry thinking about it because I was crying earlier. I've been crying all day. It's kind of ridiculous. Anyways, so as a lot of you know, I worked at Spinelli's, which is a pizza place. And I've actually worked at Spinelli's twice in my life, which both times were a really good opportunity. I really liked the people that I worked with. I got to reconnect with a lot of people multiple times. Like, the first time I worked there, I worked with a bunch of people that I knew in grade school that I was way too intimidated to talk to, talking about you, Marlo. People that actually graduated with my older brother. He's like, I think 4 years older than me. I can never keep track. It's really weird. My siblings and I, my oldest sibling and I are actually 5 years apart. Almost exactly. So my parents had 4 kids in 5 years, so it's really hard to keep up with everything. I'm also just not good at that stuff. So my brother's about 4 years older than me, and so a bunch of my coworkers were actually people he graduated grade school with. So I got to reconnect with a bunch of them and like actually learned that they were really, really cool people, and they became some of my really best friends. And unfortunately, I ended up losing touch with them, sadly, because I still love all of them dearly. Like, hit me up anytime, people, love you. But so one of those people at the time was named Maddie. And Maddie is such a beautiful human being. Love Maddie to death. Now goes by Marlo, and beautiful human being, no matter what gender, love you to death. But so Maddie and I ended up getting really close when I worked at Spinelli's, and it was like she became my other big sister. It was really fun. You know, she knew me when I was little, and I would wear cowgirl boots and skirts, and I would dress all girly all the time, and now people know me as a tomboy, which is really weird. So I worked at Spinelli's. My friend Maddie and I would actually do really, really dumb things, because we were both, she was like 21, I was like 17, and, you know, it was just a fun place to work, and you could do whatever you wanted. You know, she was a very hard worker, I was a very hard worker, so when we goofed off, it was, you know, just because we had already done so much. Maddie and I ended up, there was this Pepsi cooler, and it was one of the Pepsi coolers where you have to open it to get like 2 liters and 20 ounces and all that kind of stuff with the rolling door, and it had broken down in our store. And one day, our manager, Fleener, kept annoying us, and Maddie and I hid in the freezer for a little bit, and he couldn't find us, and he kept getting really mad. And I may or may not have done that to a couple of other managers, but literally, it was a clear front, and then the rest of it was like covered in the Pepsi logo. So you could see us clearly through the front of the cooler, but he passed by so many times and didn't even think to look in there, which was really funny, because I was just like, I'm staring at you and you're yelling for my name. Just turn around and you'll see me. Another really interesting thing about the first time working at Spinelli's, it was in the East End. So the East End in Louisville is over by like Westport Road and all that kind of stuff. So it was on Westport Road and Goose Creek, that little crossroads right there. And There was this guy who would walk up there all the time, and he would get hammered off PBRs. And I don't know if he was just drunk or really stupid. I don't know. I think he might have been mental, because he kept calling himself Rocky Balboa. This man would literally try to fight. Like, when I talk about Spinelli's, I want you to think of, like, bikers and, like, people you really don't want to mess with. Like, Louisville is a misfit town, but Spinelli's is where the misfits go to work in the misfit town, okay? So, basically, if you're going in Spinelli's and you're trying to start something, you're gonna start something. This guy always comes in, always claiming he's Rocky Balboa, always just going off on tangents and calling himself like Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan. Like, he literally thought he was so many different people. I don't know if he was just drunk or just actually had mental problems or what, but whatever. So, this man comes up here all the time, and he starts, like, getting in people's faces after a while, and I look at him and I say, "You need to sit down." He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." And it was the weirdest thing, having this old man who would come up here and try to get in people's faces, talking about, "I'll knock you out, da-da-da-da." And I just said, "You need to sit down." And he sat down like a dog. Like, he was a dog and I was his owner. I was literally the only human being he would talk to. Any other girls around and anybody else around, he would not listen to anything like that. But when I would be like, "Okay, you need to go home," he'd be like, "All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night." Da-da-da. It was like I was his mom. I don't know what happened. Like, am I the crazy person whisperer? Is that what I am? Because it makes sense. Another Spinelli story is when we'll say I think it was my 18th birthday. And I had some friends driving me around because it was my 18th birthday. I was celebrating, okay? So we ended up going to the Baxter Avenue location of Spinelli's. And this, like, right when we pull up, we parked in front of the store, like, on a street, like, main road kind of thing. So we park out front, and as we're getting out, I see this tall, bald man come out. And he's not old, but he's just bald. He's, shaved his head probably. So this tall, bald man walks out, and he has pizza in his hand, and he's just walking down the street being chill. This short dude comes out of the store and is, like, following this dude. And he just starts, difference, like, this much of a difference, a lot. And he is, like, jumping to get in this dude's face and, like, yelling at him, telling him, "I can't believe you would, like, look at me in that way, disrespect me, da-da-da-da-da." Apparently, this guy looked in his direction and it was the wrong way. So, whatever. This guy is getting in this tall dude's face, and tall dude's just standing there like, "I just want to take my pizza home. Like, I don't know what your problem is." This short dude, his friends start coming out, like, being like, "Dude, you need to calm down. We need to go." Short dude starts knocking the heck, like, beating the crap out of tall dude. And tall dude ends up on the ground. The back of his head is mashed in. From hitting the concrete. Like, he was messed up. And all the short dude's friends start grabbing him, like, pulling him away and trying to get him in the car across the street. And I just watch as this short dude is pushing against his friends like, "No, let me at him, let me go." And I was like, what is going on? Finally, the cops come, like, we give our statements, a bunch of people give their statements, and they let the short dude go and take the other dude off in an ambulance. That's one thing I will never understand, is this man literally is most likely hopped up on drugs, just beat somebody's face in front of a bunch of witnesses, and you're letting him go home. Like, this dude is literally going to the hospital for medical attention, and you're letting this crazy dude go home. That will always shock me, and that... So, let's get away from the more violent things, because even though they weren't violent towards me, they were pretty violent. So, next we're gonna talk about Thornton's. Okay, so, when I was 20, I applied at a gas station, and it's called Thornton's, and I worked there for a while, about 8 months. And I quit that job in a really great fashion, but I'll tell you a whole nother story about when I quit my jobs, because those are all interesting stories. I worked at Thornton's. I first started off on third shift. And third shift, I was the only person there. I had to take care of the reports for the day, like end of shift reports, like lottery reports, all that kind of stuff. I was responsible for all that because you had to do those reports at like 2 a.m. So while having to handle all that, I also was not supposed to issue returns, which I did not know. So when I first got there, it was like, I would get there at about 10 o'clock and I would leave at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I get there at 10 o'clock and about 10:30, like all my other coworkers are gone from second shift. And this lady comes in and she sees me dealing with people and she comes up to my counter and she has bagged beef jerky. One of them's open and they have a paper towel in it. And she said, "This was moldy. I want a refund." And she had like 3 or 4 bags of the beef jerky. So she didn't have a receipt, but she said that my manager, Patrick, which was one of my manager's names, said it was okay for her to bring it in, So I end up issuing the return, and it's all on video. And I call my manager immediately after, and I was like, "Katie, I don't know how I feel about this, like," and she was like, "That lady comes in all the time, and she scams us all the time." So that was my fault, but oh well, I'm just kind of dumb. Never do a return without a receipt, so fun fact. And she ended up trying it again, and I looked at her and I was like, "I'm going to need to take this away from you," because what she would do is she would come into the store with a bag, and then she would go up to the beef jerky, and she would take the bags and put it in her Thornton's bag, and then come up to me while I was distracted with other customers. So that was her goal the whole time, and she got away with it with me. And I'm still salty about it to this day. A Thornton story. So there's this lady. She came in before I had even gotten there, and she was dealing with one of my coworkers. Coworker's name is Michaela. Michaela's awesome. Love her to death. So Michaela's standing there talking to this lady, and I walk in and I go behind her through the back of the counter and go to the office and clock in, and as I walk out, Michaela looks at me and she goes, "You need to deal with this lady." And I was like, if Michaela's saying that, then this is about to be bad. So I'm standing there and I'm like, "Hey, what's the problem?" And this woman looks at me and she said, "I'm just trying to understand why my balance isn't on this, why my gift card isn't working, And I don't remember the whole situation, but what happened was she called the number. It said that she had the balance that she had paid on the card, but she had to set the card up with a little PIN number so she could use it, because it's one of those fancy gift cards, so that if it gets stolen, it can't really get used. You know what I mean? So this woman was trying to go off on my coworker because she couldn't set the card up for her. Doesn't make sense. I'm over, and I'm listening to the recording on the phone with her, And I looked at her and I said, "Well, ma'am, you just need to call them. You need to set up a PIN code with them. Like, we can't do anything." And she said, "Well, I'm just trying to educate your friend over here because your friend doesn't seem to understand that this is a problem. I'm trying to pay for my stuff, And she keeps looking at Michaela and going like, your friend, like, just very disrespectful and rude. "I'm just trying to educate your friend because your friend obviously doesn't know how this works." She's getting really sassy. She still get overworked about this because Michaela is my girl, and I will go to bat for my girl. This woman's talking to me like this, and I said, "Hold up, you need to stop right there, because she may be my friend, but that is not how you speak to us. You are in our store, you are being very disrespectful and rude, and I do not need that. So you can either stand here and be respectful, or you can leave." The woman, without missing a beat, turns her head to me and says, "Eat a dick, bitch!" So I said, "Okay, alright, you don't want to leave? I'll call the cops." Gladly. So Michaela's standing there dealing with other customers, and then another girl we were working with, Lindsay, was dealing with other customers. They were both second shift, so they were trying to leave. So I called the cops, and I'm standing there outside of the counter staring at this woman. I'm like, "Yeah, she's wearing a gray shirt, she has long hair and a ponytail, it's brown," like literally describing her to her face while she's staring at me. And the cops show up. Thornton's, they have a contract with the LMPD that, they get their gas for free if they come around and protect us. Like, we're the only place they can really get gas, so, So they arrive in 2 minutes, and they walk inside, and they said, like, these cops I know, like, they come in all the time, so I know these cops. And I said, hey guys, like I've asked this woman multiple times to leave. She's being really rude and disrespectful. And she looks at me and she goes, you called the cops? And I looked at her and I said, I was on the phone with the cops while staring at you and giving them your description, okay? So this woman said, no, you didn't. I didn't know you were calling the cops. You never said you were calling the cops. And my coworkers both looked at her and said, yes, she did. She was staring at you and talking to you while talking to the cops. So the cops nicely escort her out. And she comes in about 2 weeks later trying to be as nice as possible. And I said, yeah, have a good day with your not working gift card. Bye. I love coffee. So that one got me kind of heated, but here's another one that might get me kind of heated. So while I worked at Thornton's, I ended up getting promoted to the food service manager, which if you've ever been to Thornton's, there's the breakfast burritos and like all the breakfast sandwiches and all that kind of stuff, where they make them in the store, but like they have these little ovens behind it. They have a little kitchen area. So I was in charge of that. I was in charge of ordering, like everything. I was in charge of everything in that kitchen. And some stuff in the store. While working in that area, I remember I was making burritos one day, and this group of guys came in, and there were 3 guys. One was a short white guy, another was a short black guy, and one was a tall black guy. The tall black guy didn't really talk to me, but the 2 short ones did. So the 2 short guys walk over, and they're like looking at me. They're like, oh, what are you making? Da 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 da. And I was like, oh, I'm just making burritos, you know, da 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 da. And they were old, so they were like old, short, white, and black dude. Salt and pepper, if you will. Sorry. So they come over and they're talking to me, and I'm just standing there making my burritos, and one of them said, oh, are you married? And I said, no, I'm 20, I'm not married. That's, no. And the short black guy goes, 20? I would have guessed 30. Would ya? Okay. All right, that's fine. And I said, wow, that's probably the most offensive thing you can say to a woman. And so I just stand there ignoring them, like obviously stopped making conversation with them, just making my burritos. And they keep talking to me and I'm standing there making my burritos. So the black guy comes around to where my little swinging door is and he goes, hey, little ma, come take this. He hands me his number. Why? So you just called me 30 and you handed me your number when I'm 20 years old. And you're old and definitely not my type. So when this man hands me his number, I said, see that trash can on the other end of my kitchen? He said, yeah. I said, made it. Really made his number into the trash can. I showed him that I was throwing his number away. He said, oh, little ma, you didn't have to do that. I said, well, you're coming over here disrespecting me, telling me I look 30, then trying to flirt with me. I don't play those games. You're not going to make me feel bad about myself just to get in my pants. Bye-bye. So, about 2 hours later, they come back in. And dude comes over to my station. And he's like, girl, let me buy you lunch. Da-da-da-da-da. Tries handing me his number again. I said, I don't take lunch from cheap bitches. I'll be 30. I don't care. And then you come try to flirt with me after you insult me. Boy, you are a boy. You may look like a grown little man, but you are a boy if you think that is gonna work on me. Okay? No, you're not gonna degrade me and then try to make me feel better by saying, oh, but you're okay enough for me to ask out. No. So my first job ever was actually Waffle House, and Waffle House was a really weird experience. So the first time I worked there, I actually worked there for about 4 months, and while working there, it was my last night there. I was 16, summer, so I could work third shift. So I was working third shift, and I had my coworker, Miss Tracy, who I love to death, and a couple other coworkers with me, and I get a table of guys. And they're all being really rowdy. They're all older men, like really, really rowdy. And they start making comments about me. They ask me my age. I said, hey, I'm 16. And they start making comments about me, about how attractive I am for a 16-year-old, how mature I look for a 16-year-old, da-da-da-da. And then they started getting grabby. And it's one thing to make those comments and I can walk away, but if you're gonna grab me when I start coming up to your table and I'm 16 years old, that's not okay whatsoever. My coworker ended up taking over my table, like I still got the tip from it, but she literally had me hide in the back of the store for the remainder of the time that they were there, which was like another 30 minutes, because they were being so inappropriate with me. Like, one of them saw me smoking a cigarette, and he came and tried to sit next to me. Like, it was very, very inappropriate. Like, you were 50 years old, something like that. Like, they had gray hair, kind of old, and they were being really inappropriate, and that's... Alright, so looks like we got time for one more, so... We'll talk about the time when I worked at Homemade Pie and Ice Cream Kitchen for 2 weeks. My best friend in high school, Faith, she and I ended up both working at Homemade Pie and Ice Cream Kitchen. And they were pretty understaffed, so they were looking for managers. And Faith is really responsible, really, like, she's still a really good person. Like, you know, she never partied, she never did anything stupid like I did. Like, if anybody was going to corrupt anybody, I was going to corrupt her. But, you know, she ended up becoming a manager in like a week. So, literally, the thing that really determined it for me was after she became a manager, she was my closing manager. And I only worked one shift with her as my closing manager. So, she ended up managing me and another girl. And she gave me a lot of really hard tasks, and then gave the other girl, like, decorating the rest of the cupcakes, or doing the bourbon balls, or whatever. And, you know, I felt as if she was trying to make it seem like she wasn't trying to play favorites, because I was her best friend, and, like, we spent all this time together. But she also wanted to seem like she was being fair to everybody else. She was coming from, I wasn't mad at her, like, I was angry in the moment. I was like, man, like, I wish I could get some help with this, because they got done so much earlier than me. So, I ended up talking to Faith, and I was like, yo, you're my manager now, I can't do it. Like, I love you to death, but at the same time, I feel like you're giving me more duties than everybody else, and, like, trying to show that I'm not your favorite, and I just feel like this job isn't going to work out for me and you as friends, because if that's how it's going to be, because I know you don't want people to think that just because we're friends, you're going to give me special treatment. Like, I don't want that to affect our friendship, because I'm just going to get mad about it. So I ended up quitting, and I told her, I was like, you know, I'm doing this for our friendship, because I don't even really like this job, like, and I like you as a human more than I want this money. So I quit for the sake of our friendship, and unfortunately, our friendship didn't last after high school, because I ran away and did my own thing. And she stayed a humble, beautiful human being who I don't know what's going on in her life now, which makes me really sad. But so, Faith, if you're watching this, I would love for you to reach out, and you still have a special place in my heart, girl. And that goes for anybody who I have lost connection with over the years. Like, still love you. If I hurt you, I'm sorry. I'm a much better person now. I have a much different outlook on life, and if I could literally apologize to everybody that I hurt in high school, I would. Yeah, this is actually just kind of me going back on my life and seeing what a crappy person I've been and trying to make up for it now. So, but also I do want to make the point that in high school, I was a very different person. I didn't think I had a lot of friends, and I was just kind of looking for reasons to, like, push people away, because I didn't want to get hurt later on in life. And I ended up hurting myself by pushing a lot of people away. So, if I hurt you in high school, if I was mean, if I ended up breaking off our friendship because I thought something that may have not been what I perceived, or, you know, you've been a different person in high school or whatever, I want to say I'm sorry. Because in high school, I was kind of a crappy person. I had a lot of mental issues that still haven't really been, you know, brought up to this day, but I am actually trying to save up money to go to a psychologist, kind of get my brain all back in order to see what all is going on in my head. Because I feel like my emotions get the best of me sometimes, and especially with my boyfriend, that's not fair, because my emotions are wild. So, yeah, one thing I want to say is that it has been really weird to see how much I have changed and to recognize that I did hurt people. That people didn't just hurt me, I hurt other people in return in high school and grade school and after school, like all of it. Like, and just growing and seeing what kind of person I used to be is really weird. And it's actually kind of heartbreaking because there were a lot of good people that I ended up hurting. And a lot of values that I didn't have back then, I have now. And it just makes me feel bad for all those people that I hurt. It makes me feel bad for me because I didn't get to have relationships with those people or get to interact with those people as much as I would have been able to had I not done the things that I've done. So, if anybody from high school is watching this, you are all beautiful women. You have, honestly, I follow all of you on Instagram, some of you on Facebook. You're all beautiful. I see the lives you all have had, and I am just so impressed by a lot of you and so thrilled that a lot of you have found things that you love, have had children that you love, all of it. Like, you all are making beautiful families, beautiful memories, going off to college and all that kind of stuff. And that's something I want to do. I'm still not ready for it, but you know, everybody's doing their own thing. And that's the most amazing thing that I can see, is not only that I've changed, but other people have changed so much from who they used to be. And I'm seeing people come out of their shells and like show what they want to do with their, you know, careers, and like new beauty gurus coming out, and like fashionistas and photographers and all these beautiful people with so many beautiful talent. Honestly, this is just going to go in because I feel like everybody who I've ever known who has been hurt by me needs to hear it, because it's gotten to the point in my life where I'm done being sad about myself. I'm done feeling bad about myself. One thing that I do is I either never have an appetite or I don't eat. Like, I haven't eaten today, and it's 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, I haven't eaten anything today. And that's normal for me. Like, I normally have one meal a day. Last night, I had spaghetti, and that was my only meal for the day. I hate myself. I don't think that I need to lose weight. I know I'm a beautiful girl. I know I have, you know, a lot of features that a lot of people would love to have. Like, I feel really good about myself, but unfortunately, the way my body works, the way my head works, sometimes I just don't eat. I don't want to eat. I don't have the appetite for it. And if I force myself to eat, I just end up throwing it up. And it's not good for me. I'm trying to change my outlook on everything and all that kind of stuff. I'm really just trying to be a healthier me. I feel like all these emotional tolls that I'm putting on myself are coming out in me not eating. And I'm losing weight, and I feel unhealthy. I'm always tired. I want to go work out, but I don't have the motivation. And a lot of that might stem from my diet or lack of diet or whatever. But I do want people to know that even though I have issues that I'm still working on, I still understand the issues that I've previously had and that I have gotten to work on. And I cut off a lot of friends who could have used me. And that's what kills me the most, is that instead of building women up back then, I tore them down. And now one thing that I'm really all about is making sure that people feel beautiful. And I made a lot of people feel ugly. And I don't like that. I'm getting emotional, but it's cool because I'm an emotional human being. So, okay, so we're gonna get out of this sad sack of life, and I'm gonna go cry my eyes out because my life is sad and I make everybody feel bad. Okay, no, but actually, the other day, something that I haven't told anybody this. But so the other day at work, I have a coworker, and she's this beautiful black girl, and she walks around, she wears these big glasses, and she walks around, and every time she sees me, she says, "Oh, you look so beautiful," and I'm just like it makes me feel good, and so I compliment her back all the time. And this guy overheard us, and he was walking next to me, he was like, "Oh, you know, don't blow her head up too big, da-da-da-da," and I was like, honestly, it's not even about getting complimented anymore. Like, I don't care if I get complimented. Don't compliment me. I don't care. The thing that I love is that she's going around, and every time she sees me, she tells me I'm pretty. And every time she might see somebody else, she might tell them they're beautiful. Or like, the one thing that I really love now is the glow up, like making everybody feel good about themselves. And that's one thing, it took me a long time, but the one thing that you can do for everybody worldwide, no matter what it is the glow up. Literally being like, you're beautiful, you're a beautiful human being, you look amazing, da 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 da. You know, you can focus on one feature and be like, I love your eyes. And maybe they don't like their eyes. Maybe that's one thing that they're very self-conscious about. But you're like, I love your eyes. I love how you did your makeup. I love how you did this. And maybe they aren't feeling confident about that thing in that specific day. But that's the thing. You can make them feel so good about pointing out one thing that they could feel like is the most flawed thing about them. Like, it's... That's what I love. I love complimenting people and making people feel good. And I wasn't like that back in the day. And now I am. I used to be a savage. I used to be like, I'll hurt your feelings. I'll hurt your mama's feelings. But now I'm like, let me make your feelings feel better. Unless you're being mean to other people, because then you suck. So just one thing I've really learned is that everybody needs a little glow up. And if you want compliments, I'm the best person to come to. Alright guys, so I don't even know what happened in that video, but we're gonna post it because this whole message just needs to go out. How I'm dumb, how life is hard, how people need to understand other people, and if anybody wants to forgive me from high school, I'd be cool with that because I like friends and I want to tell everybody how beautiful they are. I hope y'all like this video. If you did, thumbs up, share, whatever, subscribe please, because I would love more subscribers. I'm really doing a lot of arm talking right now. Head, shoulders, wait, oh. Anyways, have a good week, have a good month, have a good whatever. In a couple weeks, I will actually be going on a family vacation, so I don't know if I'll be posting that week, but if not, it's the week of the 4th, so if not, you'll definitely get some fun blooper reels from the family vacay. Thank you so much for watching, supporting, liking, sharing, subscribing, whatever. Thank you so much for all of your love and support. I appreciate it, and I just want to say, stay happy and stay safe.